Far East Gold Limited on the Australian Stock Exchange FEG, and for US investors watching FEGDF on the OTC market, is a progressive explorer with a multi-asset portfolio, both onshore and offshore Australia. And joining me right now to talk about that and more is Shane Menere, who's the Managing Director of Far East Gold. Hello, Shane.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful pleasure to have you on. And you've just recently started some interesting work in Queensland, Australia. But before we talk about that, please refresh us on the progress of the Idenburg project, which is located in Indonesia.
Yeah, so Idenburg is certainly the flagship in Far East Gold's portfolio. So by way of refresher or introduction for anybody new, Far East Gold's got 4 assets of copper and gold in Indonesia and 2 in Queensland, Australia. Idenburg being the flagship. Idenburg is still in the Indonesian jurisdiction, but on the Papua island. So Idenburg is demonstrating some really interesting geology, certainly been quite kind to us at the drill tip just recently. If anybody's been following those intercepts and recent announcements, it sits in a highly prospective area. Just over the border is on the PNG side is Porgera, Freda River, Lahire, all 10, 15 and 20 million ounce plus projects. To the west of us is Freeport. Everyone knows Freeport, one of the top 2 or 3 copper and gold producers in the world. So we sit in some pretty good geological neighborhood areas, and we're right in the middle of that particular region. We're intersected by the Trans-Irian Highway, which goes all the way from the north to the south. So we're fortunate enough that logistics not an issue, good road access, and certainly good community support. So I'm happy to talk about some of the grades and some of those things as we go through, Tim. But yeah, very exciting, that particular flagship project of ours.
Well, as they say, if you're looking for elephants, you go to elephant country, and certainly that heavy metal belt that runs straight through New Guinea and down the east coast of Australia through the islands is a very heavy part of the crust, as demonstrated by what you've just pointed out with the large gold companies up there. But now, behind Shane right now, as you can see, a couple of drill core with visible gold in the core. Why don't you just run us through a little bit of your highlights of the of what you're getting from what they call the Sua Prospect in Idenburg?
Absolutely. So there's 29 prospect areas in Idenburg, 14 of which were known when we picked up the project. It was a project originally owned by the Barracks and Newcrest, all the big guys up there. Avocet Mining did some initial drilling, and look, a little bit of inexperience back in those days, and couldn't get the project properly drilled and managed. Now we've been able to take that project through and do some drilling. We've taken some of that historical data and built a maiden JORC resource around it with some of our exploration data as well. So in November last year, we released a JORC maiden JORC resource of 540,000 ounces at 4.1 grams per tonne.
Whoa, that's good.
Nothing we sneezed at there. We've done a couple of drilling programs in that Sua area, as you pointed out, Tim, which is to the western area. That was one of the 14 known prospect areas. During that period of time, while we've been doing that drilling, we've been sending our team out into the field, good old boots on the ground, proving up some of the desktop work that we've done to try and understand the structural geology up there, and we've confirmed an additional 15, taking that to the 29 prospect areas. We're still focused in on Sua because it did have the higher grade hits through Avocet originally, and formed 296,000 ounces of the 540,000 ounce maiden JORC. Now, We had an exploration target carefully put together under the auspices of JORC, of course, and looked at what each and every prospect area was going to look like and generate in terms of potential exploration upside, and we use that as a map and a strategic plan to get our exploration underway in a couple of those areas. So now Sua, we're in the process of calculating what these drill hits are going to calculate up. We're hoping we can add a couple of 100,000 ounces onto that resource. So we're advanced down that path. But just to give you an idea of what we're hitting and to look at some of these figures. So we've got 49.5 grams over 5 meters, 62 over 4 meters, 93 over a meter, 175 grams a ton over just over half a meter. So these are the types of things that we're seeing in these high grade areas. There's also the much longer intercepts with the 2s and 3s and 4 grams per ton over 12 to 15 meters as well. There's a bit of silver credit in there. There's certainly a bit of copper credit in there, but it is a high grade orogenic system where we're seeing extraordinarily high grades, really promising. And I don't want to oversell it too much, but it's getting very exciting up there in what we're seeing.
Well,
So now we've
175 grams per ton over half a meter. I mean, that just slips off the lips, doesn't it? But it does. That's an exciting number.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. So that's why we're focusing in on Sua. Just to the southwest of Sua is an area called Papua. We're currently mapping that, found some outcrops there. We intend to drill that one next. To the north is an area called Nova. That was one of our known areas, but we've already mapped that and we intend to do some drilling up there as well. We've found some new discovery areas entirely, one of them North Burmole. That's a sub-horizontal area. And it is around about 350 to 450 sub-horizontal, relatively close to the surface, between 6 and 30 odd meters. Obviously, the terrain dipping and so forth. It will get deeper in parts, but that's a good life of mine, 2 to 3 grams per ton, addition to any sort of mining scenario as we go down that project development pathway. So we've got a bit of everything at Idenburg, the high grades and the sub-horizontals. Open pit and easy access.
Oh, sounds wonderful. Now, very recently, in fact, yesterday, you announced to the market that you've gone back into Mt Clarke in Queensland with some exploration activity and a surprise with the Queensland government issuing you an extension on your tenement. Please tell us about that.
Yeah, it was a real cracker, actually. We're really happy and grateful for the Queensland government if they're listening. We had a little bit of trouble with the farmers up there. Wonderful people, but look, let's face it, nobody wants to see their land walked on by miners and so forth. So we developed a relationship with them over a few years to get the compensation agreement in place. That's been secured. That was only secured in September last year. And the project EPM it expired in February, actually this month right now. So as soon as I got that CCA in place, I sent a drill rig up there with the hope that the Queensland government would see the value in exploring that particular part of the world, which is the Drummond Basin, sort of west of Mackay there in the Nebo area. Queensland government asked a lot of questions about what we can do there and what we thought that meant economically for the region if we were to be successful. And collaboratively, we sort of worked together and got an extension there for another 5 years with no need for
relinquishment, which is fantastic.
For the 50%. So really, really good. So that speaks to the credibility of the project. Like I said, thanks to the Queensland government, who's becoming very, very mining friendly. What's really great now, Tim, is we've been able to drop a couple of drill holes there. We're testing down to 600 meters, and we're seeing almost definite signs that we've got a porphyry there. We are now just determining what those grades look like. And while I'm speaking about Mt Clarke West, there was some historical drilling there, and it proved over 100 meters at 0.1%. with, I think it was a 14-meter insect at 0.23% copper. So it's definitely mineralization proven. There's a porphyry system proven. We now have to understand where we're at and vector into the center of it. And hopefully we've got a good copper discovery there.
Yeah. So I guess you're doing radiometric data, IP surveys on that area to identify where that dense mass of porphyry may lie.
Exactly. We've done the geochem work. We've done the CSAMT, the MIMDAS work as well. We will obviously reprocess some mag work. And we've targeted in on these areas specifically with a couple of test drill holes. So we think we've got enough there to prove the theory that there is a significant porphyry mineralized system there. And look, these things are really expensive to prove. So now it's time to look around at what we can do to help with bringing a possible bigger player in there who's interested in the region. We are surrounded by a lot of multinationals, and see who's interested to work with us together.
Just out of personal interest, in the soil geochem that you did, was there any other indicators of what may lie in that porphyry, for example, gold?
Yeah, that's right. It looks like some gold credits. We're hitting about 0.3, 0.4 grams per ton of gold just in the geochem. We found some rock chip samples that are showing 1.5 and more. So there's definitely signs of epithermals nearby that we think are being fed by a porphyry system. But yeah, there's certainly gold mixed in there. We're now testing for rare earths and all of that as well. We
A
suspect there
full
could be
52
a bit of
element
upside.
profile, I guess.
Yeah, full, exactly.
Mm. Well, it's funny. Gold has a funny property, being a heavy metal. Somehow it seems to bubble to the surface. And
Yeah.
and if you're getting gold in your soil geochem, well, that's a very good sign. I've been speaking with Shane Menere, who's got a number of exciting projects here and offshore. And Far East Gold listed on the ASX is FEG. And go and look them up and have a look at that latest release from yesterday regarding Mt Clarke and an exciting new copper project in Queensland. And thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much, Tim. Appreciate the time.